Everyone at her funeral smiled, except her. Part 2. The investigation begins. If you're just joining us, stop this video right now and go watch Part 1. What I'm about to show you will only make sense if you know the full story. For everyone who's been following this story, we have a problem. A big problem. 2 days ago, I met with private investigator Janet Morrison. What she found, it's worse than we thought. Way worse. But before we get to that, I need to tell you what happened after I posted Part 1. Because within 24 hours of that video going live, my entire world fell apart. Sarah called me 47 times. Mike showed up at my apartment. And Emma disappeared. Hit that like button right now if you want to know what really happened to my family. Because this story just became a lot more dangerous, let me walk you through the last 72 hours, because it's been absolutely insane. Part 1 blew up. 2.3 million views in 48 hours. But here's the thing nobody tells you about going viral with a family conspiracy your family finds out. Let me play you voicemail audio from Sarah. Sarah, Alex, what the hell is wrong with you? Take that video down right now. You're destroying our family with these lies. Grandma was sick. She was paranoid. That diary is the ramblings of a confused old woman, and you know it. That was voicemail number 1. By voicemail number 20, Sarah's tone had changed completely. Sarah, later message. Honey, I'm worried about you. This kind of stress isn't healthy. Maybe you should talk to someone. There are facilities that can help with overwhelming thoughts. Facilities. She said facilities. Just like Grandma wrote in her diary. Then came the text from Mike. Look at these. Text messages. We need to talk. Urgent, this is getting out of hand. Meet me at Grandma's house. We can work this out, Alex. Answer your phone. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. That last one? That felt like a threat. But the really scary part happened Tuesday night. I was coming home from work, and there's Mike, sitting in his car outside my building. Just waiting. When he saw me, he got out and started walking toward me. I ran. I literally ran up 4 flights of stairs and deadbolt my door. I installed 3 more locks that night. But the worst part? Emma's gone. Her roommate says she packed a bag and left town. No forwarding address. No explanation. Just gone. All her social media accounts are deactivated. Her phone goes straight to voicemail. It's like she never existed. That's when I knew I couldn't do this alone anymore. That's when I called Janet Morrison. Janet Morrison, 25 years in law enforcement, 10 years as a private investigator, specializes in financial crimes and suspicious deaths. And after what she found, she's working my case pro bono. Guys, Janet found connections I never could have imagined. This conspiracy goes back 15 years and involves at least 12 deaths. Let me read you what she discovered about Sunset Manor. Janet Smiley's Sunset Manor operated from 2008 to 2023. During that time, they had a 340% higher mortality rate than the state average for assisted living facilities. The deaths were always classified as natural causes, but the pattern is undeniable. 340% higher. Think about that number. But here's where it gets really twisted. Janet traced the financial records. Janet, every resident who died at Sunset Manor had their estate handled by the same law firm, Brennan and Associates. And guess who sits on the board of directors for that firm? Sarah Chen. My Aunt Sarah. She's been on the board for 8 years. 8 years of processing estates for people who died suspiciously at Sunset Manor. But wait, there's more. The nurse who signed Grandma's death certificate? Her name is Rebecca Walsh. Walsh. Does that name sound familiar? Remember from Grandma's list? Dorothy Walsh, Sunset Manor, 2020. Dorothy was Rebecca's mother, and according to Janet's research, Dorothy was about to change her will the week before she died. She was going to leave everything to charity, but she died before she could sign the new will. So who inherited her money? Her daughter Rebecca. The same Rebecca who's been working as a private care nurse for elderly family members across 3 different states. Janet traced Rebecca's employment history. Look at this map. Every red dot is a place where Rebecca worked. Every red dot corresponds to a suspicious death of an elderly person. 17 locations. 17 suspicious deaths. All involving families who trusted Rebecca to care for their elderly relatives. And here's the smoking gun. After each death, Rebecca received a payment from Brennan and Associates. Always the same amount. Always 2 weeks after the funeral. $25,000. Every single time. My Aunt Sarah has been paying Rebecca Walsh $25,000 per murder. But Janet found something else. Something that made me physically sick. Life insurance policies. Sarah and Mike have been taking out life insurance policies on elderly family members without their knowledge. Harold, $500,000 policy. Dorothy, $300,000. Frank Morrison, $400,000. My grandmother, $750,000. They've made over $2.3 million from murdering our family. Minus Rebecca's fees, minus the bribes to get people into Sunset Manor, minus the legal fees, they've still cleared almost $1.8 million. And Emma figured it out. That's why she's missing. Janet found this email in Sarah's business account. It was sent the day after my first video went live. Email: the Emma situation needs to be handled before she talks to anyone else. She knows too much about Dorothy's case. Rebecca says she can make it look like an accident. They are planning to kill Emma. They might have already killed Emma. Janet filed a report with the FBI yesterday. Financial fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and at least 12 counts of homicide spanning 3 states. Agent David Park is now handling the case. This is no longer just a family conspiracy. This is a federal investigation. But here's what really terrifies me. Remember how I said Mike showed up at my apartment? Janet pulled the security footage from my building. Look at this. Mike wasn't alone. See that woman in the white uniform getting out of the passenger side? That's Rebecca Walsh. The same Rebecca who killed my grandmother. She was outside my apartment building. They were planning to kill me too. I'm not at my apartment anymore. I can't tell you where I am. But I'm somewhere safe. Janet has me in protective custody until the FBI can make arrests. This is a burner phone. My real phone was being tracked. They knew where I was at all times. Guys, I need you to understand something. When I started this investigation, I thought I was just solving a family mystery. I never imagined I was uncovering a serial killing operation. Janet found more victims. This isn't just about my family. Rebecca Walsh has been doing this for years, working with different accomplices in different states. Elderly people who trusted their families. Families who were supposed to protect them. And instead, they were systematically murdered for insurance money. My grandmother spent her last weeks knowing she was going to die, knowing her own family was planning to kill her. Can you imagine how terrifying that must have been? If something happens to me, I hope someone discovers the truth. Grandma, we found the truth, and we're going to make sure they pay for what they did to you. The FBI is moving fast. Agent Park says they expect to make arrests within 48 hours. Sarah, Mike, and Rebecca are all under surveillance. But they need one more thing to make the charges stick. They need to find Emma. Alive. If Emma is out there, if she's watching this video, please contact Agent David Park at the FBI field office. You're not in trouble. You're a witness. And you might be the key to putting these monsters away forever. For everyone else watching, if you know anything about Sunset Manor, Rebecca Walsh, or suspicious deaths in your own family, please call this tip line. This story isn't over. In part 3, I'll show you what happens when the FBI finally makes their move. And I promise you, the arrests are going to shock you. Some of you have been asking if this is real or if it's just entertainment. Let me be clear, this is real. People are dead. A killer is still out there. And my family will never be the same. But we're going to get justice for Grandma. For Harold. For Dorothy. For Frank. And for all the other victims whose families never knew what really happened to them. Subscribe if you want to see how this ends. Because I promise you, the conclusion to this story will be unlike anything you've ever seen on YouTube.